Hey YouTubers, it's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach, and today, part of my Getting Back to Basics series, I want to talk about debt. Number one, we talked about the emergency fund and how important it is to have one. Number two, important to have a budget. Gotta have it. Number three, once you have those two things, then you can actually start attacking your debt. Because if you don't have those two things, you're not going to know where you've been and you're not going to know where you're going. And until you know that, you're not going to get anywhere. So basically, you have to assess your debt. List all of your debts. And I tell you what, when you list your debts, and you haven't done that for a while, or maybe you have never done that, you're going to end up finding out that you're probably in more debt than you thought you were. It's just a fact. You're going to find out that you owe way more than you thought you did. Note the interest rates, minimum payments, due dates. Determine your total debt amount. You have to create a budget. You have to know, like we talked about before, you have to know where your money is going, because a lot of it can just fall right through your fingers. And the fact is, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Basically, if you're gonna be paying off debt, you're going to be cutting out unnecessary spending. And unnecessary spending is going out to eat, going to the movies, going bowling. Basically, an entertainment budget. You just aren't going to have one for a while. You are not going to be able to afford that. Case in point, I went to church with my oldest son this last Sunday, and it had been his birthday the week before. And when we went out to eat after church, I said to him, well, I'll get it, I'll pick up the tab. Well, we went to a Mexican restaurant. We'd been there before. Super good. I love Mexican food. And I mean, it's not like I wasn't trying to eat frugally when I was there. Basically, when I go to a Mexican restaurant, because I don't eat out that much. I really don't eat out that much. So when I do, especially when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I get a margarita. I do. So I got a margarita. We both ordered entrees. And then, you get the chips and the salsa, and my son wanted some queso to go with the chips. And I'm like, sure. This was for his birthday, so it's like, okay. And then I think he got a Diet Pepsi. So we had two entrees, a margarita, Diet Pepsi, and queso. And it came to $51 for just two people. $51. And these entrees were not overly expensive. They were maybe $14, $15 a piece. It wasn't like it was an expensive steak dinner or something. It wasn't anything like that. And then with the tip, it was $61. It's like, man, I don't know how anybody goes out to eat very often, because it's very expensive. It's very expensive. So eating out, you need to eat at home. Go to the grocery store, meal prep, eat at home. It is a lot less than trying to eat out. So you forget about eating out. Basically, your entertainment is gone. Your eating out is gone. Unless you have a gift card to a restaurant, or, something like that. You're not doing those things. You're cutting those things out. No movies. Basically anything unnecessary. If it's not a need, you don't do it. When it comes to repayment, to get out of that debt, there's basically two ways to go. The debt snowball, where you take your smallest debt and then you put everything towards that, do minimums on everything else, put your most toward that, and then when you're done with that one, you take what you were paying, minimum payment, you add it to the next one, and you add it to the next one, and you keep going and keep going, keep going until you get to that biggest debt, and you have a large amount of money that's going towards that will pay it off sooner. Now, sometimes there are, people want to hit the higher interest, but in the snowball method, which Dave Ramsey talks about it a lot, and it's the one I did, basically, you do the smallest to largest because there's a psychological thing that happens. When you've got a debt paid off and you've got that small one paid off, it's a win. And it's a fast win. Fast. And that gives you the momentum to go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one. It just keeps building on itself. And you start seeing these debts go away and you can get really excited. Really excited. Now, the other one, where you do the debt avalanche method, which is pay off the highest interest debt first while making minimum payments on the others, saves more interest over time. Yes, that is another way to do it. So basically, I suppose you can decide which way you want to do it. If you go with the high interest, maybe that's not your biggest debt. Maybe that would, be interesting. Now, this one I don't agree with, negotiate and consolidate. I think it's better to just keep your debts the way that they are. Don't do the consolidation because all that's doing is restructuring your debt. And if you go take 3 credit cards, you take everything off of those and you put it onto some consolidation loan or something, and you have these credit cards still open, you're going to go back into debt and you're going to go right back up. You don't want to do that. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to take out a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit. Don't do that with your debt. Your house is too important to you. I would not do that. The other thing you can do, it's kind of like when you need to lose weight, you reduce your calories and increase your exercise. If you're trying to get out of debt, you increase your income and reduce expenses. You do those two things, you're upping one thing, lowering another, gives you more margin, gives you more money to pay that bill off. You can also do some kind of side hustle. There's all kinds of stuff out there now. You can walk dogs, you can deliver food, you can do all kinds of stuff. And it's like, it all depends on how determined you are. Dave Ramsey talks about being gazelle intense. And that's very true. Just go like crazy. The way that I did it a little bit quicker. I sold a house. I ended up making a good amount of money on that house. It gave me the money to put 20% down on this house. And I had money to pay the other debts. If you've got a house, think about it. If you have a house that is too much house for you, it's taking more than 30% of your income to pay for it. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to sell the house, make some money, put that on the debt, rent for a while even. Renting is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can do that temporarily. You really can. It's not forever, everybody has to live somewhere. So you're either going to have a house payment or you're going to be paying rent. One of the two. Or once you get to the point of having a house and having it paid off, that's the best thing, is when you don't owe anything for it. And that's what I'm looking forward to eventually with this house, because I don't really owe that much on this house. And oh my gosh, to have a paid off house, that would be like the best thing in the whole world. You know, a lot of people think fancy cars are a status symbol. No. Having a paid off house, being out of debt, not stressing about money, that is the only thing. And believe me, I was married for 30 years and I was stressed about money that whole entire time. And really, if I would have known some of these principles back then, I wouldn't have been as stressed. Now, I wasn't married to somebody who was on the same page as me, you know. I need to have somebody that will save money, not an impulse buyer. You know, that's important to me. That's more important to me than a lot of stuff. And, you know, I just don't want to be stressed about money. And I am not stressed about money right now. Things will change in April when I don't have alimony anymore. That is going to be different. I am going to have a tighter budget. And I've been starting to think about that because it's like, wow. But, you know, he's been paying me for a long time, and he got remarried a year after we got divorced. And, you know, he and his new wife have been to my house a couple times, and, you know, we get along fine. It's different, you know, it's okay. I actually never thought it would ever get to that point where I would be okay with it. I don't know how many of you are divorced out there, but it is something I don't ever want to go through again. And we had a very, very easy divorce as far as divorces go. There wasn't a lot of fighting. There wasn't a lot of anything. You know, I mean, we got along extremely well, even getting divorced. But it's still something I don't ever want to go through again. I don't ever want to go through that again. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe deep down I don't want to get married again. I don't know. I think about it. I think about it one day, and I want to. And I think about it the next day, and I don't want to. And I don't know. But anyway, getting back to debt. You will be so stress-free when you don't have to worry about money. I can't tell you how freeing that is. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. Basically means financial freedom, less stress, more opportunities to build wealth. And now that you're free from debt or working toward it, here's how to stay that way. Build the emergency fund. During the time you're paying off debt, $1,000, maybe $2,000 emergency fund is really enough to deal with a lot of different things that could happen. But you want to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a savings account. So that's not your normal monthly thing. That is the bare necessities, what you need to get by. That's the amount of money a month that you save. This prevents you from falling back into debt when an unexpected cost arises, because if you don't have the emergency fund and your car breaks down, you're going to be going into debt to fix it. And there you are. You're in debt again. Living below your means. Keep expenses lower than your income. Don't spend every single dollar that comes in. Avoid lifestyle inflation, or they call it lifestyle creep. Don't do it. When I was married, when he would get a raise, we'd all of a sudden, now we can go buy a more expensive car. We could buy a more expensive house. I mean, all of a sudden you start thinking, what can I get because I'm making more money? You don't want to use that. Using credit wisely, you want to pay them off in full at the end of the month. Don't pay interest. Avoid financing large purchases, unless absolutely necessary. I might put something on a credit card and then take a couple payments. I don't like to pay interest though. I don't like to. But I have 2 credit cards, but I don't use them very much. Like I've said before, my one credit card, I get 4% cash back when I get gas. So that's the only thing I use it for, is to get gas. And then I come home and I pay it right off. But you can invest and build wealth. Max out your retirement accounts. Consider investing in index funds, real estate, or other wealth building opportunities. Keep budgeting. There are very wealthy people who still do a budget. Dave Ramsey is one of them. Does he have to? Probably not. But they do. They do that every month. Reward yourself for your hard work, but within reason. Not anything that's too expensive. Focus on experiences, long-term financial security over material things. That is the best thing of all. Because life is too short. And I really truly believe that there are a lot of people who want to project a certain standard of living. The house that they live in, the cars that they drive. Because people are going to think if you have a big, fancy house that you're doing quite well. And I know from being in real estate, I didn't drive a car like this, but there were plenty of real estate agents that were driving the Mercedes, the Range Rover, the Audis, the really expensive cars, because they wanted to look like, well, I have to look like I'm successful. I had, when I was selling real estate, I had a little 2008 Hyundai Accent. Now, we had bought it brand new, so it was brand new, but it was this little car. Got good gas mileage. I had to put a lot of miles on showing houses and stuff. And did it look... I guess I didn't look as successful as, other people. But it was, to me, I'm sorry, if you're driving a car that you can't afford, but to look like you're successful, it's fake. It is so fake. And I don't want to be fake anymore. I mean, when I did this with my hair and I grew it out and I don't color it anymore, I've gotten more compliments on my hair since I did this than before. When I was coloring my hair, was that fake? Yeah, I guess it was, because that really wasn't my hair color. This is my hair color. I just like being real, you know? We live in the age of plastic surgery, coloring your hair, fake boobs, you know? And it's all to project a certain facade. And it's like, why not just be yourself? Be yourself, be real, be who you are. And I guess maybe I would do plastic surgery if I had nothing better to do with my money, which I do. I do have better things to do than that. And, just age gracefully. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm saying that to the guys out there too. Life is too short. Life is too short. And believe me, I feel like I was 27, which will be almost 40 years ago. That seems like yesterday to me. I can't believe that I'm going to be 67 next month. It doesn't seem possible, But I have gotten to a good part of my life. I have my kids. I have my grandkids. I have a job that I really love. I have a town that I live in that I really love. I have a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in my life. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. So anyway, if it gets you to thinking. But really, debt to me is a dirty 4-letter word. Might as well be a cuss word to me. I hate it. And I don't ever want to be in debt again. So, I hope this encourages you. I hope this, the getting the emergency fund, doing that budget, and then paying off the debt. Once you get there, the sky's the limit. Really is. So, like I always say, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Comment, subscribe. Are you out of debt? Are you working at getting out of debt? What are you doing? Are you doing the debt snowball? Are you doing the avalanche plan? How are you doing it? How much more do you have to do? How long has it been taking you? There's all kinds of comments, and I'd love to hear all of them. So anyway, till next time. Bye.